Good afternoon. Hello there, Applebrooks. So I'm in there doing cucumbers again, you all. We have all these jars that we had bought, over the course of the year for the canning season. And seems like we're doing a lot of canning of cucumbers to turn them into pickles. So I was thinking, we really went through probably, 4 cases of jars, maybe more, just to do the cucumbers. And so it's good, that we're using it. But then I thought, are you preparing for hard times? Are you trying to, get a little extra food set aside every time you go to the grocery for, say the electricity goes out or some other event happens and you can't get to the store to buy what you need? And you don't want to go without, and you don't want your family to go without when it comes to like canned foods or even like first aid stuff. If you need first aid. Hello everyone. If you need like some, some medicine, some ointment, some Band-Aids, peroxide, rubbing alcohol, Neosporin, just basic, like even a basic like first aid kit. It's good to have that, or maybe some extra toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, to have a little bit of extra of that, you all. Baking soda would be a must. I think baking soda would be a must, and extra salt. You would never want to run out of salt. And salt, you can get a thing of salt, a canister of salt for probably around 50 cents or something. But what are you all doing? Are you preparing for like hard times? And indeed, some of you may be in hard times right now. You are experiencing hard times, and these may be the hardest times of your life that you are experiencing. There's a scripture, like fish are caught in a cruel net, so men fall, or women, people fall on hard times that come unexpectedly. As fish are caught in a cruel net, so men fall on hard times that come unexpectedly. It's like they come without warning and they don't give you enough time to prepare. But we can look around. I can look around. You can look around. And you can see the world is a lot different now. Inflation is creeping in. The shelves are getting emptier. And if you live in a place where you go to the store, take Walmart. It's a big box store. It has a lot of products. And, it's very convenient. It is. And let's say the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General store, the Family Dollar, or the small hometown stores, what happens if, say, the small store in your hometown, they don't get the deliveries and you don't got a place to go that's really near, say the gas stations shut down because they run out of gas or something else like that. Are you preparing for hard times? And it's okay to prepare for hard times. It doesn't mean that you're paranoid or... It doesn't mean you're paranoid. It doesn't mean that you're worrying. It means that you are aware and you do have a preparedness mindset. We should have at least two weeks of extra supplies. We should, you all, like extra food on hand if you don't have it on your shelves or something. Some people only keep not even a week's worth of food in their home. Okay, they may have maybe, around 8 or 9 things of canned goods, a few vegetables and stuff, maybe some soup, and rice, something easy to make. But they don't keep a lot on hand because that's how they are. They never grew up in a family where the parents or the mother or the father had extra food on hand. So they may not be used to doing that. Do you all do that? Are you all doing that, you all? About preparing for hard times. We're talking physically preparing. And it takes a mental and a spiritual mindset also to physically prepare. You got to prepare your mind up here. You got to prepare on inside of here to make sure, you're strong enough if and when those hard times occur. And it truly is not a matter of if, because a lot of people are experiencing these hard times. Their families are struggling to make ends meet. There's not enough money to go around. There's not enough money to pay the utilities, to pay the rent, to buy the food, to put the gas in the car, to pay for the insurance, and all the other extras that we are having to pay that just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. There's not enough funds. There's not enough money to make ends meet. That would be very hard times for people. And you have children and say they need formula. You can't have the formula because the formula got contaminated. You can't depend on the peanut butter because the peanut butter got recalled because of salmonella. Isn't it strange? The recalls of stuff like this because contaminants get in them. And then or bottled water and stuff like that, contaminants. It's like the food supply and like Ebola. What is that thing? Salmonella and stuff like that. The fresh vegetables, the leafy vegetables and all of that kind of stuff. Somehow they have a recall. The beef gets a recall. Things get lots of recalls. And if you don't have extra on hand that isn't in the recall, what do? If you can't go to the store and get what you want because it's all gone, they threw it all out, you're dependent on getting it, but you can't get it. All of that. Susan, honey, sister, Susan Staters, there is no need to be afraid. There really is not a need to be afraid. If you stand in love, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. You can face the future. You can. Somebody said, Gina, you are afraid. And I replied to the comment on here. I forget her name. You're afraid, Gina. If you got a message, you can't be afraid to, what was it? You can't be afraid like you are to, I don't know, make people upset. If I was afraid, I would not even be on this platform, okay? I would not be even putting myself out here the way that I am. So I really reject that. I do. And I can speak up against it. No, I'm not afraid. Would you put yourself out here with all these people for 4 years? Yeah. No, I don't think you would. And I would not even encourage any of you all to put yourself out here and do what I'm doing. I would not, because it's like you're being thrown into a pack of wolves is what it is. And then, you know, something happens and then you're going to lead that pack of wolves because you flip the tables. We're getting uncontaminated products and food stuff's possible. Maybe we are getting new uncontaminated. I hope that we do get new uncontaminated food stuff. I really do. And have you noticed that the food products, I was told this, it's been around a couple years ago, that when there were shortages of certain things in the grocery stores, like say the JC or the Kroger or store, whatever, and that product is no longer made because the companies that make the products, they've been shut down. The meat processing plants, the other type of plants, the food plants have been shutting down. And the crops are, let's face it, the crops are getting destroyed because of drought and all kinds of, all this weather that's happening, you all, and other natural disasters. The crops are being destroyed. So that literally squeezes the food supply. And then, so are you preparing for hard times? If you can, are you, when you go to the store, buying a little bit of extra stuff, you all? Are you? Like, make sure you have a little extra food on hand. You can even buy ramen. It's pretty cheap. I know when things got really bad with the thing that was going on, they limited 4 packs, 4 little things of ramen per individual. You were not allowed to buy a case of ramen. You weren't, because, you know, it's like the poor man's food. You all have lived on ramen. I've lived on ramen at times in my life, and I like ramen. I like pasta. I do. I lived on macaroni and tomato sauce. I still like it to this day. I know I'm talking fast and I'm talking whatever, you all, but this is preparing for hard times. It does make sense to prepare if you prepare, because you want to take care of your family. You want to take care of yourself. Nobody wants to do without. They don't. That's right. Winter's coming, so put a little extra food and meditation if you can. Angelina, honey, you so welcome. Eat the weeds and edible landscaping. Well, a lot of people, some people live in climates where, like Arizona, you don't have very many weeds to eat. You got the desert plants. I mean, you can get the water from the cactus. Some cacti, I think the prickly pear cactus or whatever, if you go scrape that stuff off, I think you can eat that cactus like a green bean. If you like some of those cactuses, you can like cut them in slices and cook them up if you know how, and perhaps maybe the fruit and stuff. But some plants, you know, if you don't know how to identify the plants that are around you, how are you going to eat them, really? Because You better know what you're doing or you're going to get yourself sick. That's what I'm saying. You're going to get yourself sick. Learn about foraging. And a lot of people, it's hard for some people to learn. And if the internet were to go down and nobody had books to identify the beneficial plants of weeds and stuff, it would be hard to forage unless you had an expert around you, somebody who was schooled by doing their own schooling to identify that stuff. You all, it's going to be very difficult. And if we had like a I don't know, like a volcanic eruption and the ash just like spread and stuff like that, you know, you breathe in that ash, it's like those little glass particles going straight into your lungs. Okay, so yeah, your crops would be destroyed under layers of ash too. And or say, you know, the other thing, you'd have to be around 6 feet under the ground between you and earth to, you know, separate yourself from that radiation. That would be the fallout from it, you all. So yeah, 6 feet, 6 inches, something like that, you all. And you know, when I first started on this journey, someone said, Jeannie, you need to get you a gas mask. You need to get you something like that, because when these things start coming out at nighttime, you want to be prepared, and you don't want to have no light coming through your windows. You want to have all your windows covered completely up so whatever's outside cannot see any light inside your house. And you also need like a generator, like a pedal generator, that you can pedal, you know, like the old time people, they knew how to make their own generators to create electricity and stuff like that. That he recommended some stuff that I get, and I got it. And I did end up using the mask and stuff with the filters when I crawled under my brother's house, because it had some mold under there, and I had a biohazard suit on. Yeah, water airtight seal. It was pretty cool. I made really good use of it under there, and really good use of it under the addition that we had built on, because there was mold that formed on the insulation, because when it was built, the people who built it did not lay down a vapor barrier on the dirt, so I had to crawl underneath there with gloves and suit and stuff and rip all of that insulation down and put it to, see that, no, see that she's already, no, that's the one I was talking about. I've had it with her. She's gone, because she cannot stop. She can't stop Applebrooks, honey. That's who I replied to, because she told me I was afraid. No, I'm bold. I'm bold as a lion. Okay, so yeah, you all. So I put that in use, and it does work. It does work, you all. All of it. Yeah. What's happening? I'm sitting there we're doing more cucumbers and stuff with the jars that we had on hand. That's right, Applebrooks, honey, with the jars we had on hand. And I was thinking about hard times. When it comes to hard times, are people prepared? Do they have a little extra food in the house? Because, you know, you can make your food stretch. You can. And if it got really bad, I guess, if you lived in places where you had to eat insects. Oh, look at that thing flying in the air. It's so cute. If I can catch it on there. It's one of those things you can catch and make a wish. If you had to eat ant soup, I think you'd be very thankful you had it. Yeah, all of that. Foraging book, anyone? Don't know. I wonder if you can get them anymore. Hello, Valerie from French US. So that's what I'm wondering. Do you pick up maybe a couple canned goods? You can have a bag of rice. I think you can get a great big bag of rice, maybe a 20-pound bag of rice for like $8 or something. It's like a long grain rice, something like that. Or you want to pay the expensive thing, jasmine rice or Mahatma rice, stuff like that. That stuff gets expensive. You just don't want to be caught off guard. You want to make at least some preparations if you can. You really do. And there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean that you're afraid. It doesn't mean that you're scared or you're living in fear or nothing. It just means that you want to use some common sense and have a little extra on hand. You don't got to go overboard. Some people, you know, they go overboard, and that's how they are. They grew up, they always had food in their pantry. Their parents did. My mother always had food on the shelves for whenever we come home from school and stuff. We had some ramen, or maybe we could open up something and eat it. Yeah, stuff like that. Just a little extra, and maybe some candles, maybe lighter or matches or something, a way to heat your food, a can opener, manual can opener and stuff like that. Yeah, growing your own food. Well, that's great as long as the climate works for you where you're at, as long as we don't have a massive shift, which when I was teaching my children, they had this book. What was it called? I don't know, but it was one of my favorite subjects. It showed throughout the years how the growing zones would shift upward. They wouldn't always stay the same. They'd keep ever increasing. That's right, Sean. Joseph to prepare for the famine, because what it was, 7 years of plenty and 7 years of hard times, and there's nothing wrong with it. That'd be a lot of food to store, the grains, but and just think, he got put in charge of all of that. Yeah, hydroponics, it's expensive to get that stuff going too. It really is expensive, and you got to have the space for it, you all. So there's a lot of good ideas out there, but each will be unique to the individual. You'll have to make whatever's going to work for you. That's right. No rain in months. You need your rain barrels set up. Even water prices are insane. Yeah. A little bit peanut butter will go a long way. That's right, it really will. A really long way. Yeah, welcome there in Greece. South Africa, hello there, Arucha, Aquarian spirit. You're stocking up and buying seeds and planting. The kids love getting dirty in the garden. I think that's wonderful. It is. That's right. You all hit that like button and the thumbs up if you don't mind, because it's good. It is good to prepare, and there's nothing wrong with it. And don't worry if people think, well, you know, you're preparing for stuff. What are you preparing for? You're just worrying too much. Nothing's going to happen. It's all going to get better. That's okay. Don't worry about those people. You do what you feel led within your spirit to do, despite what other people may be saying. Whatever labels other people might put on you, you do what you feel led. Don't let me make you feel, oh, well, you need to do it. No, don't do it. This is just me personally. I prepare. I do, because I grew up in a family, you know, where we had extra food. I can't ever remember a time when we didn't. I didn't. Even though the most we ever made one year in a family of 5 children with my mom and dad, $6,000 or $3,000 in 1 year. $3,000, because my dad got laid off of work. He got hurt on the job, so $3,000 in 1 year. And that was back in, I think, the late 70s, maybe. We did get a little bit of food stamps. I remember standing in the hallways at the place where they got the food stamp, the government building. The people, they'd bring their children. We had to stand in the line behind our mom, because there was 5 children. She took all of us with her. We would wait on the stairs. We would wait on the halls. We go in there when she'd sit down with the lady. We sat there really quiet to get her food stamps, you all. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not. That's another part of me. Food stamps. When we were little, we had food. We ate really good on them, you all. And my mother made the food stretch. She did. That's right, you all. And she said that she remembers also when we were really little, I can't remember it, the government cheese was really good. And, you know, they got the milk, the powdered milk, and they got the canned, I think it was some kind of a canned beef or something. But she loved that food. And powdered eggs, they gave out to the people too, which is, yeah, powdered eggs. So, and if you all grew up in that, you know what it's like. You really do. And you know to appreciate what you do have, and you know what it's like to do without. And if you haven't grew up with that, maybe you can look at the comments, because it really helps mold you and shape you. Some for the better, because they learn to grow in a positive way, and some for the worse, because they hold grudges against the life they had lived. You can't do that, you all. You've got to move beyond it. Move beyond it, you all. Be thankful that you experience what you experienced, and make that a brighter future for yourself. You can do it. I I came out of it. I did. Came right out of it. And I never thought I was better than anybody else, okay? I never got my driver's license until I was in the 12th grade. I was still riding the bus to school, and kids made fun of me because we didn't have the money for me to get insurance and for my parents to buy us a car. We didn't. So that's okay. It's okay if you can't get your driver's license till you're get old enough to get your own job. That's okay, you all. It really is. You're the youngest of 9, Susan Donahue. That's wonderful. Yes, vinegar for everything, you all. Yeah. Pay off. Yeah, yeah. Carol, honey, yeah. That's okay. That's all right. I got some gnats flying around. That's okay. In the eye of the hurricane, you can see on the other side. That'd be great, you all. It would be. Getting through the tough times makes you a stronger person. That's right. And it could even be through your relationships that go through extremely tough times. That does make you strong. You're strong enough to withstand the tough times. And I wouldn't encourage you to stay in a really bad relationship or something. That's whatever works for you. You got to do what you got to do, you all. But that's right. When it's all said and done, it makes you stronger on the inside, everything that you've been through. If you've got that encouragement, you know that it's being given to you. That's right. I am going to have to go because I know that the brine is probably boiling on the stove, and I know that my water bath canner probably is boiling too, and I know my daughter's probably got the jars packed full of the spears with the garlic and dill weed and stuff, and then I got a vinegar salt brine mixture to put on that, and then water bath at you all. So I'm gonna go. But yeah, are you preparing for the tough times or hard times? Indeed, some people are already in them, and it's hard, but it's okay. We're gonna make it. So with that being said, hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, you all. Thank you. Love you.